All right, so let's get some messages from Lisa Marie. So her life at the end was very tumultuous. It was very unstable. It was very much one in which she was trying to put work into things, and she was trying to focus on holding the family that she had left together, trying to use some temperance in her life, but she felt very left out in the cold. She felt very overwhelmed by possibilities and options. She felt very overwhelmed by all of the responsibilities she had. And you could say, oh, somebody's rich. What responsibilities do they have? But there's still responsibilities that people have even if they're wealthy. If all somebody knew in their life is wealth, then that's their reality. So that's their own type of microcosm that they're existing in. That's not really in comparison to our microcosm or macrocosm, because we're the norm, they're the exception. Their microcosm is different than our macrocosm. So their world, their experience is still valid. That being said, does that mean that people should constantly go on television like Harry and Meghan and complain and play the victim and not appreciate what they have in life when they know people are dying out on the streets, especially in a bad economy? No, it's distasteful and it's disgusting. Just a side note. Back to the reading. Lisa didn't do that. That's not what I'm saying. Absolutely not. God rest her soul. She did not do that. She did not go around complaining and stuff all the time. I'm just saying that her microcosm she was existing in as a wealthy, famous person, she could still feel pain. She could still feel despair. She could still feel that it's difficult to get through the tasks of the day and feel this sadness, especially because her son committed suicide. I mean, that is probably the worst thing that somebody could ever experience in their life, is losing a child, particularly if it was to homicide or suicide or something really horrific like that. That is a horrible, horrible thing to have to go through. And so she wanted to move forward, but she just felt like there was this sense of defensiveness, like what else bad is going to happen? What else bad is going to happen? Like, I want to be fulfilled. I want to be happy. I want to make a stable life or have a stable life, but I just feel this huge burden on my back. And I mentioned this on my Patreon as well. There were a history of heart conditions in that family. Anybody who is an Elvis fan or perhaps started researching them after the Elvis movie, I always liked Elvis because on my southern side of the family, he's big in the South. On my southern side of the family, everybody kind of liked him. I got more of an interest in him after the Elvis movie, but I always had my favorite Elvis songs. And I always had certain things that I did like by him because, again, being half Southern, half my family was from down there. They pretty much love him down in the South. So, it's a common thing to know some Elvis songs if you've got Southerner relatives. I did do some research on his heart condition after the movie, and it was interesting because I was just researching last week or the week before last, wondering why it hadn't affected anybody after Elvis, and this is what happened afterwards. There is a pre-existing heart condition that they believe, some doctors who did autopsies on his body and his mother's body, that believe there was a heart condition that's passed down in the family because his mother died of a heart attack at a young age, Elvis died of a heart condition at a young age, and then his daughter did. Now, having said that, that doesn't mean that outside stressors couldn't have also created some issue as well. I'm not a doctor. I can't say that for sure, but, there's more of that on my Patreon if you want to watch that. She was looking at how to fix her life, waiting, when is it going to get better? When is this feeling going to not be so unbearable of sorrow? Because, that's something that sometimes grief is something, and I can say as a counselor and somebody who still studies psychology, grief is not something that you just get over. It is not something that you just get over. It's something that you learn to live with. And especially if it's grief of a child, I would say that may not even be something you could ever learn to live with. I mean, I don't want children, but that doesn't mean that I can't empathize with how devastating that would be. I have nieces, I have a nephew. I can understand how absolutely horrible that would be. And so that is not something that people maybe even could learn to live with. I mean, that is Probably the worst thing that could happen to a person. If they don't have children, then I suppose it would be losing their spouse or losing their parent. But if somebody has children, it would be losing their child. So, you know, and if she was trying to research different ways to feel better and to trust in her life again, but she just felt like it was misfortune, misfortune, misfortune. And towards the end of her life, she just felt really trapped and she felt really sorrowful in her life. And it just felt as though she wanted to have a reunion with her son. And so now this is what I feel is occurring. I feel that this has occurred. And I feel that now she is having conversations with her father, with her son. Her father is there. Her son is there. And she feels much happier, much more at peace, much more joyful, much more love surrounding her. And she feels that the sighs that she was experiencing, well, or the apathy and the sadness that she was experiencing when she was alive, that state that she felt like was constant, that she couldn't get out of, that state of sorrow, of sadness is finally uplifted. The sorrow is uplifted to cheerfulness. And now, am I saying that that's a good thing, that her children, especially her young twins, are left behind and they don't have a mother now? No, I am not saying that, so please don't put words in my mouth. People like to come on here sometimes and write stupid comments like I said that. No, but her soul can still feel at peace and happy that it's reunited with her father and her son. It doesn't mean that it's happy that but I do feel she is happy to be with her father and her son. She missed her son so much, she couldn't get over the loss, and now she finally feels that she is with him, with her father, and, you know, she's with them both, and she loves them both, and that's what I have. There's a renewal. There's a renewed sense of peace and happiness now. Thank you for watching. If you'd like to see my reading on what could have possibly ended her life, go to Patreon, and there are some more interesting videos on there right now about world events, Harry and Meghan, Palladium messages, all that stuff. Thank you. Bright blessings. Bye-bye.